Did you ever think, Jean-Claude, when you were getting into martial arts, that you'd be sitting in Hollywood one day talking about gelling your hair?
Why not?
There have been a number of famous action stars from across the pond who are as well known for their fighting prowess as their acting skills. Jean-Claude Van Damme certainly belongs on the list. He became known as the Muscles from Brussels, and he earned the title. His work in films like Timecop made him a household name. Despite it all, there was a time when he had a less than positive reputation. He was known for being difficult and unpredictable. It left him blacklisted from Hollywood until he got his act together. Early success. Jean-Claude Van Damme was born in Berken-Sant-de-God, Brussels. He wasn't a strong boy, but one day he saw something that changed his life, as he remembers.
And I saw a movie called Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And I fell in love with his magic, with his inside power. So I started to train martial arts on a young age.
Bruce's influence led him to train to be a martial artist and bodybuilder. He eventually felt he was becoming too big and couldn't pursue his other passions. He shut down his successful martial arts gym and decided to try to become a Hollywood star. He came to America in 1981 with hardly any money. He hadn't learned much English, but picked it up by watching television, especially cartoons. He's a natural learner who knows several languages today. Jean-Claude did what most new actors did in his early career. He spent his time working side jobs, such as being a taxi driver. He found roles in low-budget, unknown films until a big-budget action flick finally came around. It was an acting teacher who suggested he change his name, and that helped him start his career. 1988's Bloodsport was Jean-Claude's true breakout role. He proved he had the acting and karate skills necessary for such a high-paced action movie. Despite that, he wrongly assumed it would be the moment where his career would start to go downhill. He wasn't proud when he first saw it. He said,
"I didn't like the movie. I was like hiding in the theater, at the Chinese theater. I saw only a few people, and then I started to feel so sad for the movie and for myself, and I said, my career, first movie, I'm out." And then the movie did well, but I didn't realize.
Once he realized Bloodsport was successful, he wasn't shy about promoting it. He went from talk show to talk show and did splits in front of the paparazzi. The next years were kind to him. He landed 1992's Universal Soldier and 1993's Hard Target. 94 was one of his least and most successful years. Street Fighter earned him a paltry $7 million. Timecop was his most successful movie ever, bringing in $100 million in the US box office alone. By that time, Jean-Claude was a true movie star. The problem was that, like so many others, the success went to his head. Early signs of trouble. One of the first signs that Jean-Claude may not be a reliable actor was an understandable one. He chose a furry family member over promoting one of his films. He had to care for Scarface, a sick dog he loved that was covered in scars. The poor thing had a brain stroke and was clinically dead for a while until he woke up. Jean-Claude's an animal lover, so he stood by his dog. He's still close to his animals today. The rest of his downward spiral was just as damaging as fans have heard. Drugs were the main culprit. Jean-Claude allegedly smoked 10 grams of cocaine a day. He partied like a rock star, crashing clubs, fighting with the paparazzi he'd once posed for, and getting DUI arrests. The filming of 1994's Street Fighter was one of the worst instances of him using drugs on set. A producer said the drugs made him confrontational and difficult to deal with. The studio hired someone to watch him, but they were a bad influence. Jean-Claude's consumption even led to being fired from The Predator. He was playing one of the creatures, but was so affected by drugs he couldn't stop boxing. He simply wasn't a reliable actor. He would call in sick often, and the crew had to adapt by filming scenes he wasn't in. He was late at least twice and wouldn't even show up on Mondays. Jean-Claude also had a short-lived affair with his co-star Kylie Minogue on the set of Street Fighter. He avoided the subject in interviews but eventually admitted, quote, "Yes, okay, yes, it happened. I was in Thailand and we had an affair. Sweet kiss, beautiful lovemaking. It would be abnormal not to have had an affair. She's so beautiful, and she was there in front of me every day with a beautiful smile, simpatico, so charming. She wasn't acting like a big star. I knew Thailand very well, so I showed her my Thailand. She's a great lady." His film career began to suffer thanks to his behavior. He was getting fewer substantial roles, such as 1997's Double Team. The downward spiral of his career. Timecop was meant to be a trilogy. It was Jean-Claude's misbehavior that put an end to those plans. The first film earned $100 million worldwide. which was an impressive feat in the late 90s. It actually made Jean-Claude the highest-paid martial arts actor at the time. He was offered $12 million for each of the planned sequels. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted $20 million each. He thought his star power alone was enough to justify the raise. As he later admitted, quote, "Everything I touched turned into money, so I wanted to play the system like an idiot." That turned out to be a terrible mistake. The Universal executives hung up on him and refused his request. From then on, Jean-Claude said he was blacklisted in Hollywood. The former action star was now struggling to find work. Blacklisted from an important franchise. When you struggle to get small roles, it's almost impossible to get into a major franchise like the Fast and the Furious. Vin Diesel reportedly turned him down, likely due to his reputation as a difficult actor. He hasn't confirmed or denied this since. Jean-Claude did issue a response. He said, quote, "People have been meeting a Tesla on the screen through beautiful and perfect CGI, but some people want to go back to driving with the manual gearbox. Do you know what I mean? Some people prefer it, not all of them. I'm that switch to manual." The Fast and the Furious franchise does seem to have ended in recent years, in large part due to Vin's dementia diagnosis. The world will always be left wondering what it would have been like seeing Jean-Claude speeding down the road with the family. His life and work today. Jean-Claude had to earn his way back into Hollywood's good graces. He spent over a decade trying to repair his reputation. Most of his work in the 2000s consisted of straight-to-DVD action movies. The only standout of the bunch was 2008's JCVD. It was a raw, honest, and apologetic performance. Time magazine rated it the second best performance of the year. They even deemed it Oscar-worthy. It definitely helped him earn another meaty role in an action franchise. He managed to get cast as the villain of 2012's The Expendables 2. Sylvester Stallone believes in his ability and doesn't think it was ever lost. He said, quote, "He's had his ups and downs, but I believe once you've had that star, it's just a matter of reigniting it." It's a full circle moment because he turned down a role in the first Expendables in 2010. He was busy editing the movie The Eagle Path when Sylvester reached out to him about it. Reports claim he turned down the role because he didn't want to be seen losing a fight to Jet Li, but he denies these allegations. He does admit that he doesn't like to lose a fight when he's playing the film's hero, but he's willing to go down as the villain. Jean-Claude's skills are on full display in the fight scenes of The Expendables 2, and he even improved them. It was his suggestion for him and Sylvester's character to fight mano a mano with no weapons. As he put it, quote, "For fans, they want to see Muhammad Ali against Frazier in hand-to-hand combat. So I said to Stallone, we're two gladiators. I have to kick the shit out of you, and you kick the shit out of me, and I think people will love it." The raw honesty of JCVD and the exciting action of The Expendables 2 have helped reignite Jean-Claude's career. He's out of his long slump and no longer blacklisted as a difficult actor. He's even got a part in the 2025 comedy Welcome to the Jungle. That movie will show the world how well he can switch between genres. His career isn't the only thing that's improving. His mental health was at an all-time low when his career faltered. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and became nearly suicidal. Rehab wasn't enough, but he was able to quit the drugs cold turkey. He had a disastrous marriage to his fourth wife, then remarried his third. They, fortunately, managed to make a happy family that's still together to this day. He's grateful she's been able to forgive all his mistakes. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite movie from Jean-Claude Van Damme? Let us know in the comments section below.